Welcome. We'd like to use the zero product property to solve a quadratic equation. In order to solve this equation, we're going to work towards getting everything on one side of the equal sign, right? So essentially a bunch of stuff, right? That quadratic second order polynomial equal to 0. So subtract x and subtract 12 from both sides to get x squared. When I subtract x, I'll end up with plus x. Subtract 12, I'll have a minus 12. These are both gone, so it's equal to 0. Now, the zero product property says that when I multiply two things together and the result is 0, then one of those two things must be equal to 0. So I have to write this as a product of two things. So I want to ask myself, with a quadratic having a leading coefficient of 1, I can ask myself what multiplies to a negative 12 and adds to a positive 1. Well, 3 and 4 are going to multiply to 12, and then I just need to assign a negative appropriately, so that way it results in a negative 12 and a sum of positive 1. So that's going to give me x plus 4 times x minus 3 is equal to 0, because positive 4 times a negative 3 is going to give me that desired negative 12. And positive 4 plus a negative 3, that is 4 minus 3, gives me a positive 1. So I have factored correctly. Excellent. And at this point, I can use the zero product property to tell me that x plus 4 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now, some of you might say, oh, I can immediately say x is equal to negative 4 without writing this line here, right? X plus 4 being a factor tells me that x equals negative 4 is a 0, or is a solution, rather. And you're not wrong. I wouldn't say that. However, you're using some ideas that actually appear later in this course. So where we're at right now, if we're just starting to talk about solving quadratic equations and we haven't had polynomial function discussions, if that doesn't sound familiar, then what we need to do is we need to use the zero product property very explicitly. Set the individual factors equal to 0, and then solve the resulting linear equations. All right, in this case, we'll add 3 to both sides to get x is equal to 3 as our second solution. So these are the solutions to our quadratic equation.